Imagine hearing your name deep in the forest and realizing no one should be there to say it. There are places in this country where the trees grow so thick and so tall that they seem to swallow sound. Places where the trails stretch for miles without another person in sight. Places that feel untouched. But they aren't, because every year in these same forests, national parks, protected land, places people trust, something happens. People disappear and time slips away. Voices carry through the trees when there shouldn't be any voices at all. Some of these stories come from real reports, documented cases, witness accounts that were written down, filed away, and never fully explained. Welcome to Mr. Wick and Whispers, where the fire crackles and the shadows tell stories. Tonight, we have 3 forest horror stories inspired by real events for you. And the last one lingers longer than it should. It happened quickly. That's how these things always begin. A family was walking along a quiet trail, the kind of trail that feels safe because it's familiar. Sunlight filtering through the trees, the steady rhythm of footsteps on packed earth. The child was only a few steps ahead, close enough to see and call back. Then, gone. No sound, no cry for help, no rustling in the brush, just absence. At first, it didn't feel real, the kind of moment where the mind tries to correct itself. Maybe he had stepped behind a tree. Maybe he had wandered just out of view. But seconds stretched, then minutes, and the silence didn't break. Search teams arrived quickly, boots moving fast over dirt and rock, voices calling out into the trees, dogs pulling against their leashes, noses low to the ground. But there was nothing to follow. No footprints, no disturbed leaves, no broken branches, nothing. It was as if the child had never left the trail at all. Hours passed. The light began to fade. Shadows lengthened, stretching thin across the forest floor like something reaching. Night came, and still nothing. The next day, the search widened. Helicopters, grid patterns, volunteers searching through terrain that became steeper, denser, and more unforgiving with every mile. Hope started to thin, until, unexpectedly, they found the child. Miles away. Not just distant, unthinkable. The terrain itself should have prevented them. Sharp inclines, loose rock, thick undergrowth that resisted every step. Even trained rescuers struggled to reach the location. And yet, the child was there, alive, calm, almost untouched. When they asked what happened, the child didn't hesitate. They helped me. A simple answer. Too simple. When asked who helped, the response shifted. Sometimes it was a man. Other times, something else. The descriptions never stayed the same. Not fully, not clearly. But one detail lingered beneath all of it. They didn't walk. They were carried. Carried through terrain they couldn't have crossed alone, carried by something that knew where to go. And when investigators returned to the area, examining the ground, looking for any sign of movement, they found the same thing they had from the start. Nothing. No path, no sign. Just a question that refused to be answered. How did the child get there? And what brought them back? If that unsettles something in the back of the mind, the next story doesn't ease it. It deepens it. The trail wasn't dangerous, and that's important to understand. It wasn't remote or unknown. It was the kind of trail people walk every day, alone, without concern or hesitation. The hiker knew it well, every turn, every landmark, how the sunlight filtered through the trees at certain times of day. It was familiar, predictable, safe, until it wasn't. It started subtly, a shift in the light. Not darkness exactly, just dimmer, as if something unseen had passed between the sun and the earth. Then the air changed, heavier still, that kind of stillness that feels unnatural once you notice it. No birds, no wind, no distant movement, just quiet. Thick quiet that presses in. At some point, the hiker slowed, not because he was tired, but because something didn't feel right. The trail looked the same, but it didn't feel the same. The space between the trees seemed off, distances slightly wrong, angles unfamiliar. Then, nothing. No clear moment, no event to mark it, just a pause. When awareness returned, the hiker was standing in the same place on the same trail with the same surroundings. But something had changed. The light had shifted again, lower and warmer late afternoon. That's when he checked his watch. 6 hours gone. No memory of walking, sitting, or anything at all. 6 full hours vanished. Yet he hadn't moved more than a few steps. The distance didn't match the time. It was as if those hours had unfolded somewhere else, just out of reach. And what makes it worse, what lingers long after stories like this are told, is that this isn't rare. There are other reports, other hikers, same pattern. Missing time, disorientation, a creeping sense that the forest isn't as still as it seems, that something shifts when no one is looking, or worse, when someone is. Still here? Good. Because the final story is the one people don't like to think about alone. It was quiet. Not the comforting kind, but the other kind. The one that makes small sounds seem loud. Footsteps, breathing, the faint rustle of fabric against skin. He had been walking for hours, alone, but not uneasy. The trail stretched ahead in a long, winding line, disappearing into trees that grew thicker the further he went. Everything felt normal, until it didn't. It started with a sound, soft, almost unnoticeable. A voice, his name, clearly spoken, from somewhere off the trail. He stopped, turned, listened. Nothing, just trees, shadows, stillness. At first, it was easy to explain. The mind fills silence sometimes, pulling familiar sounds from nothing. So he kept walking, but the feeling persisted. A quiet tension, low, steady. Then, again, his name. Closer this time, not louder, just closer. As if whoever was speaking had taken a step forward. He froze. Every instinct urged him to listen, and he did. The voice came again. Same tone, same familiarity. But now, something felt wrong. Not the sound, the intent. It didn't echo. It didn't scatter through the trees. It landed, direct, precise, as if it knew exactly where he was standing. Like it wasn't calling out randomly, but calling to him, specifically. A realization sank in slowly, heavy and unavoidable. The voice wasn't trying to be heard, it was trying to be followed. There's a warning, passed quietly among those familiar with places like this. Not written, not official, but repeated. If something calls your name, and you can't see who it is, don't answer. Don't move toward it. Because not everything that sounds human is. And some things don't need to be seen to find you. When these stories are placed side by side, something begins to take shape. A child disappears and returns in a place impossible to believe. Time disappears without explanation. A voice speaks without a source. Different places, different people, same feeling. Like something just beyond perception. Watching, waiting, learning, and maybe calling. So now I wonder, which story stayed with you the longest? let us know in the comments. If this kind of storytelling pulls you in, if the quiet, the tension, and the unknown feel just a little too real, make sure to like the video and subscribe to Mr. Wick and Whispers, where the fire crackles and the shadows tell stories. Because there's one thing that's even scarier than these stories. It's not watching another one like this. And the next one doesn't just stay in the forest. It follows.